What's up, guys? For today's knife review, we're going to be talking about the Spyderco Para 3 Lightweight. Before we get into the review, let's do a wrist check. I know that this is a knife review, but watches are my first love, so I'm always going to show off my watch. Today I am rocking my Marathon GSAR medium size. I have done a review on it, so check it out. But if you don't want to watch the review, just know that it's a fantastic watch. It is a tool watch, so it's fantastic. It's a tank. Highly recommended. Going back to the Spyderco, let's start off with our first talking point, which is going to be price. MSRP on this knife is $140. However, street price on most retail stores, you're looking at $98. I paid $98 before taxes on Amazon, and out the door I ended up paying $106. Next talking point is dimensions, which I will have those on the screen for you, but I will read them off anyways. Overall length, we are looking at 7.27 inches. Blade length of 3 inches, but that also depends on where you're measuring. If you're measuring only the sharpened portion of the blade, it's less than 2 inches. And I'm being nitpicky here, but I just think that's something you ought to know. Where are we at? Blade width is 1.38 inches with a thickness of 0.14 inches. Handle length is 4.27 inches, thickness of 0.46 inches, and a width of 1.1 inches. Not too big, not too small. I think it's just right for an EDC. Next talking point is weight. So let's go ahead and take out our tactical scale here. With it being called lightweight, you will very much expect it to be lightweight. So let's see if that's true. 67 grams, and for the rest of you Americans out there, 2¼ ounces. Fantastic. That is phenomenal. It's so light it just disappears in your pocket. Next talking point is blade steel. Blade steel, we are looking at CTS BD1N. Let's zoom in and see if you can see that. Alright, there we go. Yeah, CTS BD1N. I actually just found out that CTS is the name of the company. You might have known that. I never did, but it stands for Carpenter Tools. Maybe the S stands for steel. I don't know what the rest of the letters mean. I know that the N stands for nitrogen, so they probably use that somewhere in the processing of this alloy. I do know that CTS BD1N is it's about moderate for edge retention, corrosion resistance, and hardness. So it's a really it's an overall performer, in all aspects of steel performance. So that's always a great thing. I know that in my experience, with what little knowledge I have on steels, I know that anything that starts with CTS has normally been very outstanding in performance as far as what I use in a knife. Next talking point is handle material. With the handle, you are looking at fiberglass reinforced nylon. Doing some research on this material, it is stronger than some metals out there. So for those of you who are kind of hesitant to buy this knife because you think that the handle is plastic and there isn't liners, there's no metal liners in here, and you think that it might fall apart, that is not the case. FRN is a fantastic material. You are not going to be strong enough to do any kind of damage to this material unless you are intentionally trying to destroy it. But other than that, it will handle above and beyond your expectations for day-to-day tasks and even arduous tasks as well. So great handle material, absolutely love it. Next talking point is the deployment and lockup. The action is not buttery smooth, but that's expected with this compression lock. It's only going to be smooth if you're really pushing hard down on this compression lock, but it comes out just fine, and the lockup is fantastic. There's 0 up and down play and 0 side to side play. Next talking point is ergonomics. Ergonomics, in my opinion, is great. For the size of this handle, you do have your pinky dangling at the end if you're holding it behind the forward choil. But even then, you have this fantastic jimping on the base of the blade here. And if you're familiar with Spyderco, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, to where it's not so aggressive in the jimping that it hurts your hand or it just, ruins your pockets, but it's just right to where you can get that great grip on it, and just control it, to however you want to control this knife. And then you've got the forward finger choil, so you can get an even better grasp on it and even better control for fine carving tasks. So ergonomics, in my opinion, fantastic. Next talking point is pocketability. Like I said before, that 2 1/4 ounce weight makes this knife disappear. You forget that something's in your pocket because there's barely any weight on this thing, and it's such a beautiful thing to have such a light knife, especially if you have a physically active life. Things like moderately heavy things in your pocket, eventually that adds up over time. The common phrase is ounces equal pain. I mean, if you're moving all day long, you're gonna eventually feel that weight in your pocket. So the 2 1/4 ounces is a beautiful thing. Really, I am I am transitioning over to preferring lighter knives just because they're so practical and so useful throughout the day. Next talking point is comparisons. So I will just show you some other knives and just give you an idea of what it looks like next to them. So first up, I've got the Manix 2 lightweight. Both the same material, same concept. This is what we're looking at side to side. Let's see if I can zoom in here. Both fantastic knives. They are both in CTS BDN1. I mean, it's really hard to compare the two. I think I prefer my Manix 2 lightweight. It's a little bit more fun and it's more conducive to my size hands. But really, that's me having to pick. If I didn't have to pick, I'll always get both of them because they're just both fantastic knives. The other one is a regular paramilitary. This is the Paramilitary 2. And it's funny, I initially thought that this was a light carry knife when I first got it. But after carrying the Para 3 lightweight, this feels like a tank. It just feels like this clunky, beefy knife. And that's really not the case with the Paramilitary 2. It's a very elegant looking knife. In my opinion, it's quite slender, but it just feels like this chunky thing now that I've been EDCing this. But here we go. Let's zoom out here. I need to get a different background. I feel like this dark blue is not letting you see these knives clearly. Yeah. And then my last comparison is going to be with a SOG. Here's the Terminus XR, also a fantastic knife. If anything, this is probably the most similar in concept to the Para 3 lightweight, just based on the overall size. This one is a CTS BDZ1 steel. I wasn't really sure what the main difference between BDZ1 and BD1N is. I did some research and I couldn't really find anything. They're both, they both have great corrosion resistance, edge retention, and hardness. So, I mean, whatever. They're both from CTS, so I guess there's really not much difference. Alright, last talking point is my overall thoughts and should you buy this knife. Overall thoughts are good. You really can't go wrong with Spyderco. Spyderco always comes out with a quality product. I think they have established themselves to be a reputable company, a reliable company. So more often than not, if you buy a Spyderco, you're going to be happy with what you receive. And that is the case with the Para 3. I think the price could probably be a little bit better, but that's also because I don't know how much steels cost. I don't know how much it costs to manufacture FRN. But in my mind, having a linerless plastic handled knife, just in my mind feels like it should be cheaper. But again, I just don't know. Again, at $100, that's really what you expect to pay for most Spydercos. Most of them, they sit between the 100 to 200 range and anywhere in between So that's what you're expecting. And for the quality, I guess I really can't complain. And again, it is so light. It's fantastic. It's beautiful. And it's such a great little play knife too. You know, just sitting in your chair at work and you whip this thing out and you'll Spidey flick it for, 15, 20 minutes straight, not even paying attention. I actually make some of my coworkers uneasy because I'll just sit there and, open and close this knife. It's actually relaxing, I guess. It's kind of easy to sit there and kind of just, disappear in your thoughts while you're opening and closing this knife like a sociopath, like something from American Psycho. So yeah, overall I'm very pleased. Obviously, price can always go lower. And in my opinion, if you sell me something good quality, cheaper, then I'll always go down that path. But other than that, I'm pleased with this knife. It is definitely in my weekly rotation for EDC, and it will become a staple for myself at least. So highly recommended. I hope that this knife review helps you with your next knife purchase. Thank you for watching, and tune in for my next episode. Alright, bye.